Okay, hello, here we are, the Voices, the podcast. Well, Dominican New Voices, and this is a podcast we create with the purpose, the intention to celebrate, to put the spotlight in Dominicans around the world in different landscapes like tech, finance, art, literature, and nobody knows about it. And they are our people, they are Dominican, and they're representing us, and they achieving great things in great fields, and we have to know these people. So I'm Carlos Lamarche. Of course, I'm Dominican too, living in New York City, and it's my pleasure today have in this episode our star, let's say this, a brand new star in the rising, Sandy Hernandez from the incredible show. She's the star of The Roar of the Butterfly, El Grito de la Mariposa, which I saw entitled last night. I'm in shock. She's here. Thank you, Sandy. How are you?
Hi, Carlos. Thank you so much for having me. And first of all, I want to say that I am so excited for this new project that you're doing for the Latino community, for the Dominicans. And I wish you all the best with this. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're crazy. Thank you for your time and to take the time to do this. And you are our madrina. We say like that, like you are kicking off, in the show.
Let's do this.
So I'm impressed. That's something about the voices. As a journalist, I've been collecting for years all these Dominican when I read the New York Times and they highlight something. But surprisingly, in the good way, I never knew about you until our producer highlight you, and I said, okay, I will watch the show. She's amazing. And you have a 10 years long career. We will dig it immediately, but I want to jump to the roar of the butterfly. How you got there?
So, December 2019, one casting director from the Dominican Republic, he reaches out. He's like, hey, send me all your materials. And then like a couple months later, he's like, hey, here's some scene. Here's a situation. You have to write a monologue. You have to write a monologue or a 2-page scene. And I'm like, okay. Then he gave me a little more information. He's like, hey, this is like super top secret. Disney is making a show about the Mirabal sisters, and I'm pitching you to play Patria. So initially I was auditioning to play Patria, and I'm like, oh my God, great. Like I want to be in it. Like it's amazing that, a platform like Disney is interesting in telling this story that it's so important for us, So I'm like, okay, great. So I write my monologue. I killed it. Then like a couple like weeks later, they were like, oh my God, we love it. We want to see you for like another part. So then they were like, we want to see you for Maria Teresa, which is going to be like not a bigger role, but she has a little more presence in the series. And I'm like, okay, great. I was already happy because like, I don't know what role I'm going to play, but I know that I'm going to be in it. And that's all I want. I just want to be part of this, So, casting, callback after callback after callback. And then they were like, they love your work so much. They want to see you for Minerva. I was in shock because I started auditioning, for a smaller role. And now they're thinking of me for the lead of the show, So I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I went through a little crisis because I'm like, I don't look like her. People are gonna hate it. Like, why am I auditioning for her? But I'm like, you know what? It's fine. Let's do it. There's people like in charge of that to make me look like her, So, I did my audition. I did my callback with the showrunner, director, a couple of producers. And here we are. It was a long process and it kept me sane because it was during the quarantine. So it was like that beginning of 2020. And yeah, they offered me the role. I think it was in May, June, something like that. We were supposed to shoot in 2020, but obviously, COVID was like still high all over the world. So we ended up shooting in 2021. So it was a fantastic journey, and I like to say that I earned that role. It was not handed to me.
Girl, you earn it because I watched it last night. The show, by the way, is very well done. If you are in the United States, you can watch it through Hulu. And everybody, even I was so glad to see Anthony there too.
Yeah.
And everybody played great. And I have to say to you, I watched with my husband, which is American. And I never took the time to tell the story to him. And he's quite like critic about it. And he fall in love. He watched the 13th episode with me.
Wow.
And it was great. You know, as a Dominican, sometimes even we know the story. We are like, okay, let's see it and keep me in the loop. So I want to ask you that when you learn about the Mirabal sister story, at what age and how it was in school, how was your first contact with this very
Yeah.
powerful story happen in our country?
I believe it was during school, you always know like these stories about, like history and like the importance of them. I cannot pinpoint it like
Yeah.
when exactly I learned about them. I did not have the opportunity to visit the Casa Museo before I did the show. I was able to go with Minu. She actually took me and gave me like a personal tour and everything. But I knew about them. I knew what they meant for us, for the Dominicans. I knew that because of them, we celebrate every 25th of November, the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women. Um, but it was so amazing to get to know them like deeper, besides, the heroes that they were, getting to know, you know, the mother, the daughter, the wife, so yeah, I mean, it was a magical journey getting to know her. And I always say this when I talk about her. We were fighting, her and I, the whole time. Minerva and I, we were like fighting because it was hard for me to understand. But she had a bigger cause. She was fighting for, not for herself, but for her country, her children, the future generations, and knowing that she was willing to give her life. um,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was special.
Yeah, also, as a woman in that time, she wants to go to school. And this is my next question. And this is really a lot about the voices. We want to highlight how important it is go to school, discover your talent, but you have to polish, you have to craft it. So at what age you really discover you want to add, and you say like, this is my gift.
Yeah, well, I was always involved in the arts growing up, like ballet, every school play, every talent show, everything. I was always like performing, even in my house. I always joke around that I would go to my pantry and grab any like item, like can or whatever, and I would like make up commercials for my family in the living room. So I always had that artistic vein. I was an only child until I was 11, so I had to get
Oh
creative,
my God.
so
For
so
sure.
my imagination was like flying the whole time, um but then it wasn't after high school, when I graduated, that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna get into theater school. So I went to Bellas Artes in the Dominican Republic right after high school. It
Great
was
school.
it was it was, I think, the greatest experience in my career. Everything I know right now, it's because of the school, the teachers that I had. And it's important. It's important to keep working on your craft. You never stop learning. It's like, going to the gym. That's what they say it here. Like, you need to keep like working on those muscles. So for me, it was very important to prepare. That's why, after I finished Bellas Artes, I moved to New York to study acting for film. So for me, it was like, I need to prepare because I want to be the best.
For sure. Especially young people today, if they discover they have the gift, they don't think they have to, craft it, to prepare, to learn. So I hope they can see a good example in you.
I feel like right now it's this whole social media, uh, situation that we're living right now. It's good and bad because you can
Yeah.
just like become famous, doing whatever. But I feel like people are missing that part of this is all like temporary.
Yeah.
Like what is really gonna like stay? Like what are you
Yeah.
really gonna be able to keep doing after I don't know, these like 15 minutes of fame are gone. So
Yeah.
you really do have to prepare and learn skills and
And
for
most
the
of the
future.
time, actors and actresses like you, they don't even think about fame. Just they want to do, they want to act. They want to do art.
100%. When sometimes you ask an actor like, "Oh my God, what's your dream role?" Sometimes we don't even have a dream role right now. We just want to be able to work and live off of this. It's like, listen, whatever comes my way, I just want to act. I just want to be on set. I just want to be able to create because it's hard. I was actually in a radio interview yesterday, and I was telling the girl like when I finished filming The Roar of the Butterfly, I was like, oh my God, this is it. So many
I'm rocking
opportunities.
it.
I'm rocking it. So many amazing opportunities are gonna come my way. I did not work for 6 months after I came back. So it's the never ending hustle. Like that's the beauty and and what's so crazy about this industry, you can never like feel that you've made it because
Yeah.
once you finish a project, it's going back to zero, back to the hustle and see what's going to be out there,
Back to the house. You are the original actors. Are the original entrepreneurs. Elena
Yeah.
Bohan Carter say you have to be ready for that. Like, oh, you're crushing, you are in the top, and then you have no job, and you have to be prepared. Finance. You have to manage the finance, and you
Yeah.
have to be prepared to go back to hunting the next project. No matter if you were Oscar winner, Oscar nominee, like you have to be back to the hunting.
Yeah. That's why,
Because,
like, so many artists, they become, entrepreneurs, they become business owners because they know they need to have a backup because you never
yeah.
know what's going to happen with your acting career, you
So
know?
you moved here to New York to study in the New York Film Academy. Hermana, how was that living in New York for you as a Dominican? I have my own conclusion, but I want to hear from you.
Well, I always say that New York made me a mujercita because that's when I left my parents' house. I left when I was 20. In Dominican Republic, we have a lot of accommodations. We have help in our house, living with us. We have someone always like, cleaning our house and getting doing our laundry, making us
Driving.
food, driving us everywhere. So, like it was a certain lifestyle. I was very, very, very fortunate that I was able to move to New York to study and pursue my dreams. I'm not going to tell you that I have this, oh my God, struggle story that, I had my papers because I was born in the US. So I had a lot in my advantage. Yes, my family helped me. When I finished acting school, they were like, okay, you're on your own. So I started working in retail. I worked in restaurants. I even worked. I was I worked promotions. I was literally like sometimes in a street corner handing out flyers in the middle of a winter blizzard. So
Yeah.
like I really had to like hustle in order for me to, have the time to do my auditions and uh, go to the Dominican Republic and film. Like I was trying to find those jobs that could give me flexibility to also do my thing because I did not want to lose myself, but I knew that I needed to work and make
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
because I did not have the support of my family anymore.
Yeah, yeah. This city make you that and check you in reality in the good way and the bad way too. But that's the part people when seeing social media or you on the red carpet and the premiere of the TV shows and all these things you do. They don't know about that. Like you work in a restaurant, you hand them flyers, you work in a retail store. Like that's the downside people don't imagine you have to go to in order to achieve your goals.
100%. They think like, oh my God, you're so lucky. Look at you with a show. You've made it. But it's like, okay, do you know like all the years I've been waiting for an opportunity like this? Like it's
Yeah.
been a hustle, like nonstop. Because people are
Also,
like, well, just give yourself a couple of years. It's like, no, like,
no,
no.
time is important. And also, United States is a huge country, and there are many actors, many everything, many
Yeah.
journalists, many. So you have to really be there and compete in a good way, but you have to be prepared because there are many. The line is so long, like you
So
don't have
many
the
people
luxury.
after the
Yeah.
same thing, the same thing. So it's like, back to preparation and being ready and studying, and because how are you going to make a difference? There's like 10 million girls that look like me, like Indiacita, long black hair. It's like, okay, what's special about you?
And what is your experience? Because I know you've been in shows like The Calling. By the way, I have to go and watch it again because I watched it. And it's like, okay, she was there. I watched that show. I love it. So how was the process to you as a Latina doing the auditions and getting the roles? And what do you think the industry still have, like, let's say like Rita Moreno always preach about it, is
Yeah.
still the same?
I mean, I feel like it's still the same. We're still like battling to get those roles that we deserve to be more represented on the screen. We are like 2% of the representation on like both cinema and television. So we still have a long way to go. I feel like also some of the people in charge, some of the Latinos that have power right now to make the good stories are not doing it quite yet. We're still being represented very like stereotyped. We're still playing, we're still doing like a bunch of narco stuff, which are great because we're telling true stories too. But
Yeah,
we're so much more than that.
yeah.
And I believe that's what you're trying to do as well with this
As
platform.
well.
Hello,
Yeah.
like there's
Hello.
so
Yeah.
many Latin Dominicans that doing amazing work, both in the finance world,
World. You'd be
medicine,
surprised
tech,
at.
everything. So I do feel that we have a long way to go still with our representation and how we are represented on TV and film, and the opportunities as well.
I just read your most difficult role was playing La Reina del Merengue, Mili Quesada. What? And by the way, when the movie's coming out, we have to talk about it. But why it was so hard for you, like getting the skin?
Well, yeah, I mean, many reasons. Of course, Neely, it's Neely, she's our queen of merengue. She's very much alive and active, and she's still like touring the world and doing her thing. She's celebrating this year for 45 years in the industry. It's insane. So the fact that I get to play her, it's sometimes, I think about it and it's like,
You
did it
pinch.
happen? Is it happening? Like really? Because we're still in production. We're actually going to be in New York in June, so I'll go visit you.
Oh,
Where
for
we
sure. I
we
will
still
go
have
in the set. Don't worry.
yeah, we still have
Sorry.
a couple of weeks there in New York, but it was hard for me because it was so demanding physically. You know, it's a biopic, obviously about her life, but it's also a musical. So we went through a process of singing lessons and dance lessons and choreography,
Merengue dance lessons.
so for me it was a lot of research trying to embody her essence. There's never going to be another Millie, so it's not like, oh my god, I need to be her.
Yeah.
For me it's like embodying her and paying my respects and
Yeah.
and honoring her the best way I could. But for sure it's been my toughest role so
Yeah.
far.
Also, Minerva, unfortunately, we never had the chance to see her like in an interview to have like, let's say, something we compare. But Millie's been, as you say, for 45 years.
Yeah,
So I
that's
know
something that
every move from her.
I know. And that's something that I had in my advantage with Minerva, that I really was able to do like my interpretation, uh, you know, uh, obviously guided, um, uh, from my director, and but yeah, like with Millie, it was like watching every video you could, listening to her and trying to, like embody her. It was especially on stage, that's what people really like remember from
Yeah.
her, like that charisma, that smile, that it's like her signature.
Yeah.
Those little like details were like very important to me, and I was directed by the amazing Leticia Tono. She was very
Oh my
specific. She knew
God, I love
exactly what
her.
she wanted.
Oh
So
wow.
this project is in really, really good hands.
I didn't know. Sorry for my no
No,
reading about it,
that's
but
why
I
I'm
didn't
here
know
to tell you all
Mel.
these things.
I didn't know she was behind this. So, do you met Millie?
Yes, Millie and I were like this.
But you met her before playing the role, or because
No, I was able to. So it's funny the story because I started auditioning for Meaty, and it was a long process as well, a couple of months. But then they wanted me to like Leticia and also Leticia Brea, which was the casting director. They were like, "Hey, we want to have a last meeting before we make our decision." I'm like, "Oh, okay, what else?" So I just landed in Miami. So I'm in the car, and they're like, well, so we were just like talking a little bit, and they were like, we just want to be the first ones to tell you that we would love for you to play Mealy. I
Oh
want to be
yeah.
the one to like, um offer you the role. And I'm like, oh my God, yeah. And they were like, and there's someone else who wants to congratulate you. And then like Mealy pops out in the Zoom, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then she starts crying, I start crying, and then all four of
Oh,
us are crying. It was like we look like four crazy ladies, but it was so special and it was so nice because she gave me her blessing. She was like, I'm so happy that you're playing me.
oh my
I
God.
wish you all the best.
You as an actress who been trained, do you think because you are Dominican, you are available to play better like Minerva or Millie? In the case, for example, Salma play Frida. She
Yeah.
played Minerva too. But do you think, as an actress, because you are Dominican, you can get better interpretations or
Listen, we're actors, and our job is to transform and embody whatever comes our way. That
okay?
being said, I understand that some roles should be played by their people, you
Yeah.
know, 100%. But that doesn't mean that someone else could not do an amazing job. Like, we've seen it all the time. Meryl Streep with the Iron Lady. We see this the Brazilian guy who played Pablo Escobar, who did an amazing
Oh my
job.
God! I didn't know he was so convincing. I didn't know he was
That's
Brazilian.
what I'm saying. So I get it. I know there's this whole thing about like, oh, we want people to play our parts, our people to play um uh,
Our
our
characters.
our characters. I'm sorry, yeah,
It's okay.
but um, I mean, I was fortunate enough that I was able to play these two amazing Dominican women.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like hands down.
100%. So, before we finish, we have a little question because we are not like that formal here. Like,
Okay.
we have this like conversation. By the way, you're so smart, and I can tell why people bring you for 2 lines and they let you for four, and they move you to from the little sister role to the real role. But before I start this, let's talk about some random things. Are
Okay.
you living in LA?
I am living in LA. Yes.
In LA, and how is a Dominican girl living there? Now it's like a bigger community, no?
Yeah, I mean, my little community has been like leaving slowly, especially during the pandemic. We had a little like Dominican group here. Well, it was my little Dominican group, so everybody like migrated to different cities. I have, I have, I don't have a lot of friends here. I like being home. I travel a lot too. So whenever I can just like be home and chill and be with my dog, like I'll do
Oh my
that.
God. I get you,
That's
honey.
my thing.
Country Flags,
But
yeah.
yeah, so I do have friends. There's a bigger community than I would have imagined, because now I'm getting to know more people. And I'm like, oh my God, where all these Dominican people come from?
I'm from.
But there's a big Dominican community here. I'm just not that in touch with them, really.
Okay. I got you.
But I will.
I know. What is your zodiac sign?
I'm a Capricorn. I'm a full-on Capricorn from where I hear, because I don't know a lot about this, but I know my sun, my moon,
What is your
my
moon?
Capricorn too.
Oh my God, we have to study that. Into that, but I never find someone is Capricorn or Capricorn.
Yeah.
Okay. Already you give me a glimpse of this, of what you think about social media.
I'm definitely Instagram. I just downloaded TikTok like maybe like a month ago, and
Are you
I don't know
kidding me?
I don't know anything about TikTok.
But I like scrolling. I got that bad habit, esa mala
Oh,
costumbre during the pandemic.
sí. Swiping.
Give you advice or get advice or no either.
I love to give advice. I'm always like, like we say in Spanish, si tú te llevas de mí, tú vas a triunfar. I always say that to people. I'm like, si tú te llevas de mí, tú vas a triunfar. So I'm always like trying to get people. I want to get into people's brains, you know.
Okay, so what is the bad and the good thing to be an immigrant, especially in this country?
Well, I don't know, because like I told you, I was very fortunate of, having my papers when I came to study. When I decided that I wanted to live in the US, I did not have to struggle about that. So that was good. I I've been very fortunate that I haven't experienced any discrimination against me. But a good thing is that you get to bring your culture to this new country and teach people about, our customs and our culture in general,
Yeah, I say we are a
So
little ambassador. Every day we go
we
out there,
definitely are
yeah,
ambassadors.
get out of our house and we start like talking little thing about everything we have there.
Yeah. And I feel like us Latinos, we always like, we carry our culture with us. It's like, we like being Dominican. We like being cultured, and we're Latinos, we're very proud of our roots. So
Yeah,
that's amazing that we take it. We take that everywhere we go, you
yeah,
know.
that's true.
And
And
something that is definitely what we've seen, a lot of the discrimination that some people
yeah,
experience. Uh, but yeah, I don't want to get too
no, but
into all of that.
I really get you, and that's why it's important to tell this other side. Um, I am like you. I was very fortunate to come here with my papers. Yeah, same. I was born in the United States, and but yeah, sometimes our people think because we came here differently and we have different path, we are not empathic each other. Like I don't
No,
matter.
not
Like
at
I'm
all.
Dominican and I get your struggles, and I know.
People just need to understand that my struggles are not going to be the same as yours. Yes, maybe I did not cross the border, like some other people, but that doesn't mean that I haven't gone through,
Yeah,
my struggles myself,
for sure.
and your story is valid, my story is valid. It's just different.
Yeah, I love having this conversation, and because I used to work for really established media, and the narrative there is like, and it is again where we're talking like my struggle is no has to be the same struggle you, but the narrative is always the same like that. And we are very blessed and we are very proud or our Latinos who came here like just looking for a better path, but we are many different, we are all different and all is valid like you said.
And I feel like in your case, which again I love what you're doing right now, you're giving back. You were able to, come to the US and work on all these amazing places, but now you're giving back to your community. You're trying to
Yeah.
do something about, that privilege that you've had. It's
Yeah.
not like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and do my thing and live my fabulous life.
Yeah.
Like, you want to give back and you want to like
I don't know
empower these
you, but
voices.
I becoming more proud being Dominican, live it abroad.
Yeah, 100%. That's what I'm saying when we carry our culture, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And this is another fun part. What you say, you bring your culture, but also you know about this culture. So I am like, I know who is Fefita La Grande, but I know who is Cher too. And they
I
don't.
know. It's the best of both worlds. It's the best of both worlds. Yeah,
You know everything. We
because you know
celebrate
your
Dominican
Latino culture.
independence and
Yes,
4th of July. So we celebrate double. And yeah, that's the fun part.
100%. 100%.
I
I love
think so.
it.
So, what is your most, how do you say this? La maña dominicana, you're proud. I don't know how to say maña in English.
Manya. Oh, something that I cannot live without,
Mm,
maybe.
something
Or
guilty,
something that I have,
bad.
like a guilty pleasure,
Uh-huh.
or yeah, is that what you want to say? A
Yeah.
guilty. Listen, I don't want to get in trouble for this, but every time I go to DR, I have to bring either my salami, my real salami,
Oh my God.
or my longaniza artesanal del Bravo. I have to because you can't find that here,
It's not the same.
and you shouldn't. And I usually lie to the people at the airport, but I have to bring my stuff. I have to. That and my coffee. I have to.
I ordered our coffee from internet. It's not the same.
It
I
is
just,
not the
it's the
same.
same.
It is not the same.
That's another talent. You smoke roll, salami and longaniza. I crush it in your house. So, are you a millennial or Gen Z? Because
I
you're
am one of
single.
the I am an elder millennial. I'm one of the first ones, so I'm like an old millennial, but I
Are
am.
you?
I am
Are
still a millennial.
you kidding me? Oh my God, I
Yeah.
thought you were Gen Z. Anyway, so final question, and this quiet cliche: where you see you in 5 years?
Where do I see myself in 5 years? I see myself ah, making an impact. I see myself producing. Remember what we're saying? Like, the people that have power right now, I don't think they're doing it right. I know everybody's trying their best, but I see myself producing real stories and impactful stories, and portraying our Latinos in a different way,
I hear
especially
you.
our women, especially our stories about women. That's something that I really want to focus on.
Well, where is your social media where people can follow you?
Alrighty, so you can find me on Instagram at Sandy Hernandez Cross.
Great. It's a pleasure. You have this, I remember I attend to a New York Times talk with Pedro Almodovar, and
Ah,
he was, yeah. So that's something about New York. You can even, and I got like a ticket from a friend, couldn't attend it. I didn't even pay or, that
uh-huh.
kind of opportunity when you live here. Probably same LA. And they asked him, what was the most important thing he's in actors and actresses? And he said, like, it's the way the light shine in their face. And I read him, and he said, this is beyond makeup. And I can see that on you. You have a beautiful
Oh,
light. You reflect something amazing. And even we are not meeting in person through this platform, I can see your great soul.
thank
And
you
I'm
so
so
much.
glad to connect with you. And I'm definitely going to come to your shooting. If you invite me, I will find out and show up.
No,
Yeah.
I will tell you as soon as I land in New York. I'll let you know, and we're gonna hang out and do our thing.
And in October we have this mayor event here, and the voice event is a date with people like you. We will have like a panel and different people from different worlds, and I hope I'm sure we will make a
I have to
possible
be
you will
there. I have
attend
to
it.
be here. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm the madrina. Hello, I have to be there.
Hello. Sandy, it's
I
been
will
a
be there.
pleasure. God bless
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much, Carlos.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having me.
Love it. Bye.
Bye.